Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
Doing a update. This is probably going to drop on the weekend. I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be able to really respond to it too much. But I wanted to throw something together to hold over the weekend. I have a lot of projects I'm working on, but for some reason, as soon as I get ahead on something, I get behind on other things, and then I have to shift focus. But that's what it's like being an adult. I had a really, really good range day, and then I had a really, really bad range day. My buddy who used to work at Knight's Armament, who's local to me, we hang out sometimes, you know, here and there. And although it's been a while, I think the last time's my fault though. He invited me to go out and drink. But he hit me up and he said, hey, your SR16 shouldn't be grouping that bad. Make sure you do a copper treatment on the barrel. I did that. I did it twice. So I did take out a bunch of copper. But when you do a copper treatment, you then have to take the gun out, run a couple hundred rounds through it, and then re-zero it. That's as far as I've gotten. However, the first day I was able to run the SR16, amazing range day, excellent, a lot of fun. I was with the boys and my buddy's girlfriend. Everybody ran it well, no complaints. Very wholesome and excellent range day. You saw some of that in the Raz video I just dropped. The problem is though, the next day I took this out and I took the SR16 out. I took the SR16 to re-zero and then try to do some printing with 77 grain TMKs and a few other rounds. The cellular and below 77 grain boat tail hollow point and the Hornady Tap 75 grain boat tail hollow points. Wanted to give it a nice, good, solid effort to see what it would print. I re-zeroed it successfully, but it was a very, very busy range day and everybody put targets out in front of my bay, which was really cool. And then I decided, okay, since they've done that, I'm gonna push this out to 200 and see what kind of groups I can get. And then when the range clears out a little bit, I'll put my target back out at 100 yards and see what I print. Oh boy. There were these liberal jiggle tits out there that brought, and I know they were liberal because of the shirts they were wearing and the way they were behaving, but they shot my target at 200. And then when I said, hey, which one of you shot my target at 200? They got super quiet and they slowed down shooting a lot. And the guy before was like, you guys can shoot whatever target you want. No, the fuck you can't. I put a target out there. You didn't put that shit out there.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think
Are
you're
you,
dumb.
like, medically speaking, are you like,
Like, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
So that made me really upset. I was gonna give him a piece of my mind after, but I decided it just wasn't worth it. It was, you know, $5 and I don't like wasting money, but they shot it. I did print a super nice group and then they shot my target again with another big bore. So I think it was like they brought a Garand out and some other stuff. I was pretty upset about it, but I decided just to leave. I did get it zeroed and I did see that I printed a really, really nice, it looked to be about 1.5 inch group at 200 with this thing, which was stellar because I'm trying to do the video with this. I need to do the video review and I want to do a DMR video, like why even DMR? And I got a Geisley trigger in it now. A lot of good stuff, but it got ruined, so I have to go. I'm gonna be on leave for a while, so I'm gonna try to take advantage of that. But I may not get out there, who knows? The weather might not cooperate or people might not cooperate.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
But very, very upset about this and the SR16 because I wanted to print that, although now I can take this and then the two 11.5s out and see what I can do. We shall see. But once I get more footage, I can do the two MR762 videos I want to do, the SR16 and the Geisley, and then I have some pistol projects coming up. But we'll see about that. I have some other videos that are going to take a lot of editing because I have a lot of jokes in there and stuff like that. But we'll see how that shakes out. Pistol brace comments. It ends on the 8th. I'm doing this before I fly out. So it's the second. There's 149,000 comments. The Everytown people bombed our receiver comments, and those were by far the most important. They're going to do the same thing for the pistol brace comments, and they're going to have a big push on this long weekend to get it done. I cannot stress to you how important it is not to lose twice. Our gun community is really becoming soft and malleable. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The way to succeed is to get your opponent never to show up. So if they're not even there, you've already won. And yeah, they might become an insurgency like in California or any of these other banned states, but how effective are they without big organization help? You see places like the New York State Pistol and Rifle Association. When I was in New York State way back in the day, we were always pushing them to do more. And they're like, well, we're not going to go to events anymore. We're not going to do this. They've taken one case to the Supreme Court, and that's all they talk about. The NRA was the same way. I'm telling you right now, the age of our gun rights advocacy groups just doing one thing, one and done, is over. You have the FPC and the GOA. Again, the GOA is kind of like half-assing it, you know? And I hate to say that because they're picking up the slack that the NRA used to, but they're also not. They make a lot of videos. They do put tools there, just like the FPC, so you can go through there and apply pressure, but they need to do more. They do have some stuff on their docket, which is good, but the NRA isn't doing shit. The NRA just literally shows up and they're like, we're the NRA. We're here to put our name on this. They're not doing any fighting. You know, they're not moving the ball. They're just like showing up and saying they did something. The GOA moves the ball a little bit. And again, they gave us the Heller decision, which is a massive decision, but there's a lot more work to do. We can't just rely on them to do it. A lot of things have been won and lost lately this past year on the local and state levels. The federal level, they can't get anything done, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to keep the pressure up there, because they're in a tailspin, and I swear if they get traction, they're just gonna hit us with everything. And it's gonna keep coming. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but your money's not going nearly as far as it used to. And if they can just keep you poor, you can't afford to do this shit anyway. So it's very, very important that you don't be a single issue voter. You don't do activism on just firearms and everything. You have to stay engaged. And I hate that that's the case in the land of the free and the home of the brave. You have to keep pushing for natural born rights that are enumerated under the Constitution and Bill of Rights to protect what we have. Like, I wish I could just sit here and say those are set in stone, and as a community and a society and a country, that's what we believe in. Those are the truths that we hold to be self-evident, as they say. You have to stay engaged with that or you're gonna lose it. There are people in Britain right now that are going to jail over comments or memes or tweets or reposting rap lyrics. There's people that are getting fined $10,000. How many of you have said something spicy on the internet and would then get fined for under British rule? They can't even have memes. The kid who came back from Afghanistan that got interviewed by Count Dankula and was on the Chaz, which is the green text channel that I watch all the time from 4chan. But Miles, Lord Miles, when he came back, he had to delete all of his memes off of his phone. Does that not scare you? These are the people, by the way, that want to change the United States because we are a beacon of hope. So this whole, we get to just rest on our laurels, or it doesn't matter, or we're just gonna chill, or I'm just gonna let it all burn down and then do something. Those are not the moves. We have to be front and center and tell people you're not taking this from us, period. And then when they say, well, nope. Like, we have to take the FPC's messaging on board, which is, fuck you, no. You're not taking shit from me. And that's anything. That's your money, that's all this other stuff. There's things that we can't control, but the things that are within our control, like free speech, protection against unreasonable search and seizure, due process of law, the Second Amendment, which is the individual right to own firearms, everything. If they want to pack the court, no. If they want to change certain things within our system so that they can, like, getting rid of the filibuster, no. or hey, we're just gonna input this surveillance program. No, we have to be serious about this shit, or it's just gonna keep happening, and it's gonna happen under somebody's watch, which is exactly how we got the first assault weapons ban, which is exactly how we got the machine gun ban, and it's how we got all this stuff, the Federal Reserve, all these things that are keeping us pinned down. That's how we got all this stuff in the first place, was inaction and placated compliance, as well as just massive complacency. And the time for that is over. You saw what they just did on the big stage, which I can't comment on because I got 5 years to retirement, guys. But you saw what just happened that dominated the news cycle for the past 2 weeks. We cannot let them continue to crash things. We have to stand up. If that means you run for your school board or that you run for your local community, do it. If that means, hey, I got to send money to these people, do it. If that means, hey, I got to write my representatives every day, just copy and paste the same letter until they get it.
Do it. Do it.
Speaking of the last thing, morale is low everywhere. In the US, in the military and law enforcement, morale's really low. The way that the Third Reich and the guy with the little mustache succeeded is when the society crashed, because people didn't have anything and they were going to take whatever they were presented. So that doesn't mean because morale is low you give up fighting, which is pretty much what I just spent 5 minutes on. We cannot lose focus of what's important. We need to seek accountability, and we need to be heard. Those things are very, very important, and it's very important to continue to push forward and make sure that these things get addressed and people do not escape accountability. Through our legal system, by the way, through our legal system. Don't try to take that anywhere it's not intended. And the reason we have to talk like this is because they're trying to silence everybody. They're trying to take the first Bill of Rights away, which is freedom of speech. And you cannot allow that to fall, because then negotiations have to change, and the means of which those negotiations are carried out have to change. And a lot of us are not prepared for that. I was just thinking, I was watching a video of Marines from Afghanistan. It was, go check out the Goons Up channel on Instagram, just goons_up. And there was a whole long video of what these Marines had to experience. They didn't have bathrooms, they were full of shit and garbage. They didn't have good food, they didn't have any of this stuff. Think about all of the creature comforts you have: air conditioning, clean water, a sewer, or a septic system that works, or just the ability to be free and have freedom of movement and the choice to do those things. Most countries don't have that. So this whole, we're gonna let shit slide until it gets super bad, most of you have never been in that scenario. Even me, the field scenarios that I've been in have never been more than 2 weeks. I've never been in the field longer than 2 weeks. The flyaways I used to do have never been longer than 2.5 weeks. And we were provisioned, we could go buy stuff if we needed it. Same thing with the ship, like when I got sent ashore or had to do security, or I got sent on a debt to go do security or command the security team from the command center, I was always in comfort. And my definition of comfort and the definition of comfort are wildly different. I was not comfortable, and not taking a shower for 24 hours sucks, let alone 2 weeks. And there's a lot of stuff that we have just become so soft with. And I'm not saying you have to live in squalor or go cover yourself in shit and try to survive in the forest for a month.
I was tracking the bear most of the night. Didn't get him, but I did find a big, fresh pile of shit that I thought I'd second harvest because it was full of Hershey Kisses. Spoiler alert, they weren't Hershey Kisses. It was just more shit. I ate it all anyway, got sick to my tummy, puked, pooped, jerked off, and now I'm here with you bros. What have you guys been up to?
What I'm saying is we got to get out of our comfort zone, and we have to be ready to do some hardships, because that hardship nobody's ready for. So just, keep that in mind, and always take the peaceful route when it's available. People just bailing on the peaceful route is retarded.
Oh boy, Rick, I don't think you're allowed to say that word,
Morty, I'm not disparaging the differently abled. I'm stating the fact that if I had used this microscope, it would have made me mentally retarded.
Okay, yeah, but I don't think it's about logic, Rick. I think the word has just become a symbolic issue for powerful groups that feel like they're doing the right thing.
Well, that's retarded.
I don't understand. The shock people have had when I've taken these guys that talk a lot of shit and we actually have to clear a building for real, or we have to respond to a serious incident, or there's blood just from a basic law enforcement interaction or something like that. You should see the people freeze for that, let alone any of this other stuff. It's crazy. Also, don't think for a second that the left or the gun control push is going to stop. I know I really just beat that up for this whole time, but if you're thinking that there's a victory that we can get and just chill, we've got a long way before that happens. Speaking on creature comforts, make sure you're saving money, drink water, stock up on the important things, and get in the gym. Things are going to get harder. The inflation that we're seeing now is not nearly as bad as what it's going to be if they pass the rest of this stuff. So you have to stay on top of it, continue to write your representatives, and stay in the fight there. Lastly, what I'm going to say is don't look for victories, make victories. Be a part of victories. Take leadership on issues that need fixed and be a part of making that push happen. We need to take the ball and move it in the right direction. Too long have we sat on the sidelines and just watched this stuff happen. And I know this is like, it's multiple bullet points on my notes here, but it's been one giant conversation. We're not subjects, we're citizens. And it's important to understand the difference between the two and not allow ourselves to change from citizens to subjects. If you see things happening locally and you're like, man, someone really needs to do this, if you've said that sentence, be that person. I've been there too when I was younger, and I'm very limited in the things I can do until I retire. Once I retire, I'm good, but I will send money, or I'll give advice, or help people organize things in the background, all sorts of stuff. And I'm always here as a resource for that. I've done a lot of stuff for people to help them in that regard. I know it's just a mentorship and a support capacity, but you'd be surprised how much that can help. And I've been surprised myself. I'm like, all right, I'll just do this little tiny thing. And then they take it and run with it and do something positive. That's my suggestion. And if you're feeling lost or you're feeling like we're not getting any wins here, there are other places to push the ball and to keep the opposition or the people that are just against civil rights in general, which the Second Amendment is part of, to keep them off balance and to keep pushing the ball forward. And that's just one more hurdle that they'd have to overcome to take our rights away. And that's what's important, is putting as many hurdles and roadblocks as possible in place and continue to get these victories. I appreciate all the support. I know I've been doing a lot of these talking videos lately. There's going to be a lot less here soon. And there's a lot of gun bills on the horizon we need to keep an eye on. I'll always be bringing those up. There's plenty of channels that do that specifically, but there's a lot of stuff to keep an eye on and make sure that we don't get behind with. So I will stay focused on those things, but I'm not ignorant to the fact I've been doing more talking than shooting, or doing more talking than gun videos. So just something I thought I'd bring up. Stay motivated, don't get defeated, and don't let them beat you before it even gets started, because we have a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching. Take care out there.